Hi everyone, it's Crafty Tina's. In today's video, I want to show you how to make this really nice double shadow box display. Now this time we're going to use two shadow boxes to create a display for Christmas. I am currently working on how to make easels. I've come up with this very simple basic, but I have not perfected it and I have not made it pretty yet. So although this does work perfectly for this very large shadow box, it is simply two pieces of chipboard, and I will be working out the sizes and how to make them pretty. Also, maybe even a template so that you can just simply put it down on your chipboard, trace it out, cut it out, and have a perfect little easel. Now this one's very large. It is 6 inches tall, and it was made that big because this is a large shadow box. This is actually the largest shadow box you can make because it uses a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. And that is the largest cardstock that I can get in the US. I'm not sure if other places have cardstock that is larger. If you do, you can go bigger. But this is using a full sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock, and this frame is 8 by 8 on the outside, which means the inside is 7 by 7 because we use a 1/2 inch for the actual frame of the shadow box. Today we're going to use the shadow box punch board to make our shadow boxes. You can use the shadow box punch board, or you can watch my other video that shows you how to make shadow boxes using a scoring board, not the We Are Memory Keeper shadow box. I made that video for the people that can't get this yet or have not been able to get their hands on it, or for people who cannot buy another punch board for their craft room because they're out of space or because of limited funds. We've got Christmas coming up. But I didn't want them to miss out on the shadow boxes, so I do show you how to make a shadow box using the scoring board. Any scoring board will do. I showed the video using the Works shadow scoring board, but any scoring board will do. You simply cut and score, and then you're going to cut manually your corners instead of using the punch. So if you're interested in that video, I will put a link in the description just in case you don't have the shadow box. Now this video will work for the shadow box punch board or the scoring board. It's the same concept. Make sure you grab my spreadsheet on my Facebook page. My last video, we just bound a notebook, so I have this already bound. It has all of my pages in it, and these are all on my Facebook page. This is the shadow box sheet. You will need these measurements to make shadow boxes in different sizes. For example, this shadow box is 8 by 8. This inside shadow box is 3.5 by 6. None of those measurements are on your shadow box board. It is not a recommended size. This shadow box board only gives you 4 sizes. This sheet gives you this many square sizes, and so far, this many rectangle sizes. We are still adding to the sheet. That's why I bound it with a spiral binding so I could take it out as I update it. As you can see here, I already have a new size that hasn't been added to the sheet itself. These are our square sizes, and the reverse side is our rectangle sizes. This is going to be very crucial if you want to make more than just the typical sizes. You can only make a 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, or 5 by 5 using their dimensions. We, however, can make any size we want all the way up to an 8 by 8. Love these shadow boxes. We've made multiple videos, so if you're interested in the shadow box, please check out my other videos. Also, make sure you subscribe because we are not done yet. I have so many more ideas coming up for the shadow boxes. I am typically a card maker, but I've been using my cinch binding tool a lot lately. This was a prior video, and this matches this one. I made a Christmas holiday planner. It's a 3-month planner with calendar, addresses, recipes, gift idea, and notes. This is another video. I just simply made it to match this shadow box. This would make a great gift especially like an early gift, such as now, so people can use it for October, November, December, to start in on the holiday season. So let's get started on this particular shadow box so I can show you how to make this large shadow box. I'm going to be using 3 different die sets, and I'm going to show you what they are. These are die sets that I have shown you in the past. I like to show you multiple options so that if you buy the die set, you're not limited to just one thing that I've shown you. These are corner. They're actually like photo corners. They make great shadow box corners. This is my layered poinsettia die set. We're only using the 2 small flowers. And this is a new die set I just got, and it's a snowman, and he has lots of other options and features that you can add to him. So he is new, and I'm going to show you the 3 die sets, and I will put them in the description. This is just a piece of glittered cardstock. I don't know if you can see the glitter. I'm going to show you how to cut that to look like there's layered snow underneath our cute little snowman. One thing I did forget on this one is I wanted to put a little band on his hat. So I'm going to go find this cardstock in my scrap bin, and I'm going to cut just a little strip to go across his hat so that his hat matches his frame. You can use puffy paint, glitter paint. You could put a strip of glue there and add some snow, anything you want to kind of dress up that hat. So we've got some layered flowers going on. We have our photo corners, and we have our die cut snowman. Let's get started making our shadow boxes first so I can show you how to put it all together. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some supplies. For your 8x8 shadow box, you need a 12x12 piece of cardstock. Paper will not work. It needs to have a little thickness to it. It needs to be a little sturdy. Even soft cardstock works, because we're also going to put another piece of cardstock on the inside, and that helps make it a little sturdier also. Remember guys, this is just paper. This is not wood or plastic. It is just paper. It feels incredibly sturdy. I don't know if you guys can't feel things through video, but you can hear and see this is sturdy, and it's not going anywhere because we are using a hot glue pen to make our shadow boxes this time. I did that in my last video. It worked out well. I've been using it for a few of my shadow boxes. So far, I'm happy with the results. It is a little trickier because you get one shot to put your shadow box together per side. One shot, one shot. It's not like glue where you can, okay, I can pull that off. Double-sided adhesive, you can slowly pull it off. Once it sticks, it's done, which for me is good because I want it to be secure instantly. And guys, it is secure. The double-sided tape, because of the heat and the moisture of Florida, I wasn't too keen on it. I had some that was kind of coming apart, not really fitting the bill for being a very sturdy, secure shadow box. So we're going to use this hot glue pen again. I will put the link in the description. I am not affiliated with any of these Amazon links, guys. I'm just giving it to you in case you see something here you want. You can use this format, a frame inside of a frame, for absolutely any theme you want. You do not have to put flowers. You do not have to put snowmen. You do not have to put it on the side. You could have it on the top. You could have it on the bottom, and you could have it centered. This gives you so many new options. This does not have to be Christmas. This can also be any other occasion. This would be absolutely beautiful as a happy birthday gift for someone, especially if they work in an office. You simply make this into a birthday theme with balloons, happy birthday, cards, whatever you would like, and it would make a great little display. I work in an office. I have a cubicle. I love stuff like this. I don't have near enough of it in my cubicle currently, but that's about to change because I am going to decorate it for fall. These are great, and because it's paper, you could push pin this directly to your bulletin board or to your cubicle side. You could also, on the back, add something so that you could hang it like we did in another video. It's just simply a tag. You could use a push pin and put that right on your cubicle wall. There are a lot of options. You could also hang this using a ribbon. Just simply add 2 tags to the top and add your ribbon. This is a very easy, creative way to make a nice decoration or a nice gift. If you would like to give a gift card with this gift, you simply add a pocket to the back and slide the gift card right in. So let's get started. I'm going to leave them over here. We need 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And I know this is big and the frame of my camera is small. It's overhead and it's attached to my shelf that's right above my craft room desk. So I'm going to have to learn how to adjust the camera, but I don't want to touch anything and mess it up right now, so we're going to go with it. That is 12 by 12, and that is for the outside of your frame. The next thing you need is the background inside your frame. We could leave this red, then the frame and the inside would both be red. I want the frame to be red and I want the inside to be a pattern like this one. So now I have a piece of pattern. This piece of cardstock, and this could be paper because it's just the background, is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. That is so I can put it down and still roll my edges and it cover the edge. That is the background. The next thing you're going to need is the other frame, the smaller frame inside. And I'm going with a different size and shape. We're going with a actual square size frame for the inside. You will need whatever piece of cardstock fits for your frame. This frame, and I can't remember, I believe it is a 4.5, but let's make sure, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. This is a 4.5 by 4.5. So if my frame is 4.5 by 4.5, the outside 4.5 by 4.5, my paper is 8.5 by 8.5. So this piece of cardstock is 8.5 by 8.5. I've already punched it and scored it to save time because I'm going to show you how to make a shadow box using the big one. I didn't want to bore you making two in the same video. The next thing you're going to need is all the little bits and bobbles. You're going to need 2 corners or whatever you prefer. This is all optional things to show you how to make this one. You're going to need your snowman with his hat and scarf. You're going to need a few of the poinsettia flowers. I've done 2 layers, the extra small and the small. I've also punched some branches using this punch, and I am sorry this punch is not available anymore on Amazon. I am trying to find a similar punch. They sold out and they haven't got any more in. I broke my Martha Stewart that was just like this. They don't make the Martha Stewart one anymore either. Hubby found me this one. I'm going to get him to continue to look, and once I find it, I will be posting it on my Facebook so that you can purchase this as well. It makes beautiful little leaves, or branches is what I call them. This is done in glitter cardstock, and that's what we have around our flowers. We also added some rhinestones to the center of each flower, should you choose. So you have your snowman with its 3 parts. You have your flowers, your little greenery, and your photo corners. That is what's here. You're also going to need a little strip of glitter cardstock or regular cardstock if you want to add snow to it. And I'm going to show you how to cut this piece to go in here. So let's set this to the side. We're going to set our background to the side. And I'm going to show you how to make a shadow box. Oh, and one more piece. This is a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. This is going to be the inside of my inside shadow box because I don't want the white paper to show. I want the green, and I'll show you that when we get to the little box. So we're going to set all this to the side, and I'm going to show you how to make a 8 by 8 shadow box. And this is going to feel cumbersome and odd because it is the largest we can do. We're going to take our little scoring tool out of here. We are going to score 4 lines on all 4 sides. Yes, your line will not go all the way down the paper. So just put your 4 lines, then move your paper above the mark. Make sure you put it on the mark to start with so your lines are straight, and then move it above and place it the rest of the way. And then turn around and do the same thing on all 4 sides. You don't want to do what I just did and went off the bottom of your actual punch board because you don't want to rip the paper. Now, as you can see here, these lines stop here, but my first line is here. You don't have to go any further than that first line. You don't have to go past that. We don't need them going this way. So for the other 3 sides, you can simply And you want to make sure they are straight, so hold your paper in that corner. It's very important that the lines are straight because that is what makes your shadow box straight. So make sure you hold it straight against and just bring your lines down to the top line. We're going to do it again. All four sides, again, making sure all four sides are straight. We're going to move it up so we can bring those lines just to the first scoring lines. And I'm not sure you can see it. These are our lines going this way. This is the top one. We only need to bring these lines to here. If you go past, that's fine. You just don't need to go past that. Once you get to that line, you can stop. So now we have them on all four sides. We're going to turn our punch around, and this is the actual punch for this punch board. You're going to put your corner in, and it's secure. You can feel it hit the top, and you can feel it hit the left. Punch. Then you're going to slide it till it stops again, and punch again. And that is the shape you want. Now you're going to flip your paper, staying on the same side, and you're going to repeat. Punch, slide, punch. Now I have both of them punched. They're like a little P facing each other on this side. I want to flip the paper, not turn it. I want to flip it, and I want to punch on this side. Punch, slide it over till it stops, and punch again. Now I'm going to flip so I stay on that side. I'm going to punch, slide it over, and punch again. Now I have my P's and my P's. I have points, and opposite the paper I have points. Now if you're using a scoring board, you're going to score all sides a 1/2 inch, 4 1/2 inch sections. So you're going to go 1/2 inch, 1, 1 1/2, 2. You're going to do that on all four sides. Then you're going to use the little template I show you in the video, and then you're going to manually cut out this. This is what you have to manually cut out because you don't have the punch. And I show you exactly how to make your template for the cutouts for all four corners. Your P's need to face each other, and then on the opposite side, your P's, see the little P shape? The letter P needs to face each other. So you're going to have straight edges on right and left. You're going to have pointy edges top and bottom. Now we're going to move the scoring board and take out all your pretty little P's. And now I'm going to show you how to fold it, roll it up, and glue it. For folding it, it doesn't matter what side you're going to start on because you have to fold all four sides and all four scoring marks. If you're using double-sided paper, you need to decide before you start folding what the inside back is going to be. If you're not adding another layer, you need to say, is this the color I want, or is this the color I want? And then whatever color you want needs to be face up on your table before you fold them up. I'm not using double-sided paper, so mine does not matter, but there's a lot of pretty double-sided paper out there, so I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that. If you have the Shadowbox punch board, make sure you come over to Facebook and get that page so that you can make all the fun sizes. And make sure you watch the other videos on the Shadowbox because we do a lot of fun things with the Shadowbox. There's a ton of videos on the Shadowbox, as well as the We Are Memory Keepers cinch. I do videos on the button press and cards as well. So now I have all four sides folded. I want to do the pointed ones first. That's important. Do your pointy ones first. You're basically rolling this into a square, just a square tube to make the frame. So make the square tube and then lay it flat. This is where I want to put the hot glue. So we're going to take the hot glue gun and we're going to put it along this one. We're going to carefully, not to burn our fingers, press it down. And then Our little square tube just pops right up like it's supposed to. We're just simply putting glue on this tab, and we're putting that tab face down. So you can fold it in half, or you have two tabs. You can make the square, just raise this up, put your glue, and then press it down. Make sure then you put it flat, because you are going to want to press down on that glue. So here we go again. We're going to put the hot glue. Mind your fingers. And then I want to press it down. Better to get glue on your scoring tool, because it will come right off, than to get it on your fingers when it's hot, because it will not come right off unless it takes a few skin layers. So now we have our two sides. Let's go and do these two. Now, these two are slightly different. I like to go ahead and fold them in, tuck them underneath the little slanted side. So here is my shadow box complete. I'm going to turn this around. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back, put my hot glue underneath there, and lay it flat. If it's not wanting to go flat, it's because it got stuck. Just stick your little thing in there and press down. It's okay for the little strings to show, little strings from the hot glue, but you don't want to get hot glue anywhere else, because this is a solid color. You will see it. It will mark your paper, and if that happens, no worries. You are putting something here, so you won't see it again. Now let's go over and do the other side. I want to go ahead and make my little frame, tuck it in. Once you have it tucked in nice and neat, then you're ready to close it up. And I really meant to put this down first and then close it up, but I am used to making it first and then putting this in, so I will show you how to do that. Before we glued these, I should have glued this down to the bottom and then done the sides. I do it both ways, because sometimes when I start, I don't know what background, or I change my mind. So I really like to not do this first, but I know this was going to be the background, so I went ahead and cut it. We'll improvise. I want to put another strip of hot glue, and I want to make sure this gets inside and mash the glue down. And now I'm ready to tuck it in the corners and glue it. So you have one shot. I know with our liquid glue, we glue it in the corners and you have time to finagle it. So you want to be ready immediately, because you only get one shot. You can't do one side and then the other. You have to do it in one shot. It's going to stick instantly. So you put the dot in each side and then immediately put it in. There is no multiple chances. You don't get more than one shot. If you don't get it the first time, you have to totally reglue it again. And it is instant. Another good thing about doing corners is if you do get glue outside onto your cardstock, those pretty little corners that we made would cover it up. If you did get glue and it bothers you, it is a great place for a snowflake. So we're going to make sure this corner gets covered, because I did get some hot glue on it. Now the strings bother me, the little bits and pieces bother me, but it is worth using this to get those little strings and stuff, because I do think this gives a better bond. I think it's more secure, and I didn't follow my own directions and put that instantly. We are probably going to go back and do all four corners with the pretty little corner things, because you can see the glue on all four corners. And that was because I was talking, I was not paying attention. As you can see, off camera, I had no trouble doing that. On camera, I did have trouble. I struggled with this side over here. I can probably clean him up, but I am happy to go back and put 4 corners instead of 2 corners because we can do any design we want. So now that we have this, we need our inside to fit, and it won't fit. This is 8 by 8, so this is 7 by 7. Because this is now 7, not 7 3/4 like I have, we just simply need to cut it down. So we're going to use the works board and we're going to cut it at 7 and 7. And no fear, because this can always be used on a card. So I save all my little scraps to use on a card. And now this will go inside. I'm going to put double-sided adhesive on the back. You don't need a lot, and it doesn't have to go to the edge. This is simply keeping it from popping out. So I'm going to put this here. And there we have. See, even mistakes can be easily corrected when you're crafting. When you have things that you're not quite happy with, they too can be changed to make things all right again. So here's one of the corners, and this is from a die set. I'm going to show you the 3 die sets. Here are the corners. You get 18 corners in this set, guys. There are some beautiful corners in here. This is the poinsettia. This is the layered poinsettia by Spellbinders, I believe it is. These other ones, these silver ones, are just generic, but I will put them in the link. And here is the snowman. He has all kinds of stuff going on. He has scarves, he has arms, he has little toboggans, sticks with mittens. He does come with faces. I chose not to use the face. He comes with a necktie, snowflakes. They've got holly, a present, a candy cane, a broom. You pretty much get the whole shebang, which I really love in this die set. So those are the 3 die sets. This is the corner that I chose to use. Super cute little guy. Didn't punch one of the little holes out. Oops, sorry. My camera auto-adjusted all on its own. So I have 2 of these. I will have to go back and cut 2 more, but we're going to use 2. There are little scoring lines on the inside. Don't know why the camera is doing that. Make it stop. I think it likes my hot glue gun. Sometimes if I take it off and put it back. There we go. Technical issues. I don't know how to solve technical issues, and my IT guy is not in the craft room today. IT guy is hubby, by the way. So we fold along the little score line. And they are a little hard to see, the little score lines, because it doesn't, it's very light and faint on the set. This score line was actually a lot more prominent. But you get the idea. There's a little score line there, and you simply fold it really well. And then these corners go right on the corner. And look, guys, you can't even tell I made a mess. I will do all 4 corners of this one. I'm only going to do 2 because I only have 2 in front of me. There are 2 score lines. You can pick whichever one you want. I'm doing the one that gives the least amount of front and a bigger tab. There we go. So now I want to glue these to my shadow box. I'm going to glue on both sides of this tab and then put it immediately here and push it up too. And this one is broken, but we are not going to worry about him because we are going to repair him. We're just going to take a little bit of score tape. So I have just a little bitty slice, if you guys can see that. We're going to put a little score tape on the inside. We're all about fixing our problems as we go. I don't edit any videos so that when I make mistakes, you guys can see those mistakes and you guys can fix them too. And now, because it's glitter cardstock, you will never know that how to tear in it. So let's put this corner on this edge. We're going to put a little glue on both tabs. You don't have to use hot glue. You can use regular glue or double-sided tape. However, I did notice that using the hot glue on these corners really make them stay. And there we have it. We have our little corner. And he is super cute. One of the corners that's in this set is a snowflake, guys. So if you're using the snowman, you could have a really cute snowman with snowflakes. So we're going to put some hot glue on the tabs. We're going to put it on here and then slide it up where it needs to go, because remember, hot glue, you get one shot and one shot only. And once it cools off, it is done. You cannot take that off. And now our ugly little corners are actually really pretty. I am going to make 2 more for this before I gift this to anyone, because I want to cover up these bad corners. You could also put something else there. You could put a flower, a little piece of greenery, or in this case, snow greenery. Now let's add our second shadow box. Now I've already cut it out for us to save time, but I did want to show you making it. Now we're not going to make the same mistake again, because remember, I make the mistakes, you learn from them, so you don't have to make them again. We're going to put our piece of cardstock in this before we make it. Now I've written on my cardstock, so we're going to make sure we flip that around. We're going to double side tape and place this inside. So we have our double-sided tape on here. We have to make sure it goes inside the last scored line. So I've made this 1/4 of an inch smaller than that space on purpose so that we would have enough room to get it in. So now we're simply going to glue our sides like we did for the red. Find what's comfortable for you. Is gluing on the bottom and putting it down the most comfortable, or is gluing it on the piece and putting it down the most comfortable? Remember, the more comfortable you are, the more times you will want to do it. And that's important when you're crafting. You don't want something to be so hard that you dread doing it, because in the long run, you will not. You'll stop crafting, or you'll stop making that particular item that you like. So we're running out of glue. Let's put this in here. But it was still plenty of glue to secure it. This camera really loves my hot glue gun. It just keeps zeroing in on it. It's probably the light that's probably making it zero in on it. I don't know what the problem is. There we go. So now let's do our other sides. We want to fold them in. You always want to turn it around so that you can actually get your glue gun in there. And if you have to, use something heavy to get that out of your way. So we're going to put our second strip in, because once it gets down, there's nothing to push it. This is the only pushing part. So once it gets past there and you could see the end, it's not going to push any more glue out. That is my favorite way, is to fold it down how it needs to be and then just stick the glue underneath there. I've tried quite a few different ways to find what's comfortable, and that works really well for me. We're going to roll this up again. We're going to put this inside the little slanted tabbies. Let that raise up slightly and put my glue in there. And now I'm ready to put my sides together. We're just going to put a dot. Because it's printed cardstock, it won't show the mistakes as badly or as poorly. I don't even know. It's not going to show the mistakes as much. How's that? Because it's printed, you won't see the mistakes. It's the solid color. I don't have a lot of 12 by 12 printed, because when I went to Hobby Lobby to get some Christmas, I could only find 8.5 by 11 that I really liked. So if you have a lot of 12 by 12 printed, these are the perfect frames for them, especially if they're double-sided, so you can get the 2 contrasting looks without having to use an extra piece of cardstock. So now we're going to add another drop of glue on this side. And you see I paid attention last time, so I was able to put it in one shot. Sometimes it just requires a little concentration. Go in your craft room, shut the door, turn some nice music on, and enjoy it. That is the best advice for crafting I can give, is you need to enjoy it. This is my stress reliever. This is what makes me happy. I could spend all day in the craft room. Of course, nobody would eat, get any food made, or no groceries bought, no food made. It would just be crafting. So in this video, this was a rectangle size, so I put it over to the side. I had already made this shadow box in another video when I was showing all the different sizes we could do, so I really wanted to use it because it matched my book. That is why I went with this size. This, I wanted to go with another square to see how it looked. Now, here is where you have total control. You can have it in the center and put your flowers along the bottom, one side, or top. You can move this staggered and have room for your flowers. Staggered, have room for your flowers. Any way you want. But we are going to put this down prior to building our snowman and our flowers, because it is important to be able to press this down, and we can't do that if we have a puffy little snowman in there. So I am going to do something totally different than this one. So I think I'm going to center him on top and put my flowers along the bottom. Actually, I really like the corner flowers. So we're going to put him here, and I'm going to put my flowers along this top. I am going to cover this up, so no worries on that. I think we're going to go with this design. And this is how versatile this frame really is. I mean, we could even put it up against if we wanted. I think the whole point of a shadow box is to have the shadow look. So we're going to keep the same distance as this size. So you basically a half an inch on each side. I'm going to put this box right here, and I'm going to put I'm going to do it in the bottom. I'm going to put him in the bottom and put the flowers up here. This is where I normally get stuck. I have the hardest time making the decision. I'm going to make more of these, so it doesn't really matter which way I go, because I'm going to make another one and just go in a different direction. We could even put it over here and put the flowers here. We're going to go this side, flowers on the top. Final decision, no more. To add this shadow box to this shadow box, we are going to use the hot glue. I did notice that that makes for a very sturdy inside shadow box. Like, this is not coming off kind of thing. So I really liked the look. So we're going to quickly glue all around the sides, squiggle some in the center, and set it down immediately. We're not going to measure and make sure that we center it. It's not going to have the same number of size on all four sides. We're just simply going to eyeball it and press. And now you don't necessarily need to press so hard, but I pressed the inside really good and the outside a little. And now he has, and I'm sure that's not the exact space all the way around. I'm sure he's crooked in some point. It's a craft item, and I say it all the time. Homemade crafts are not meant to be perfect. But now he's got this pretty little base. You can decorate this any way you want. I'm going to put a snowman in here with a little red hat. Going to add a little red scarf and draw him a little face. Now this is a slightly shorter shadow box than this one, so I have to watch where I put his hat. And because this is wider, you see I didn't cut enough glitter, but that's okay. So all I have to do is grab my glitter piece and we'll make a little bit bigger piece. But let's build our snowman. He's consisting of 3 pieces: the hat, the scarf, and the body. His buttons punch out, and there was no way to avoid that. You can put little pom-poms there, or you could even glue little mini buttons in there, because remember, this is a shadow box, not a card, so it doesn't matter if it's 3D. You can make it any way you want. For this video, I'm just going to add a little adhesive above and below those 2 holes, and I'm going to put a piece of black cardstock covering the holes so that it gives the illusion they're the little black holes. The next thing I want to do is I want to add his hat. I want to put him back in here and make sure that his hat is going to fit. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape. I have him in here where I want him, and now I can put his hat to where he has room, just like that. Now I'm going to pick this up, and we're going to add his scarf. Now his scarf, the die does cut out every other little section. I think that's meant to have another color underneath it, but they didn't provide a die to do that. So whatever you put this on top of, that color is going to show through. If you wanted this to be a red and green scarf, you could have put this on a piece of green cardstock, traced it with a pencil on the outside edge, and then cut it out and glue those two together, and you would have had a red and green scarf instead of a red and white scarf. So for adding something like this, I like to use glue. I don't like to use hot glue or double-sided tape because the area is so small. So we're just going to use some of our Precision Craft Glue by Barely Art. I got this on Amazon, of course. And I'm just going to put a little glue here and there because I don't need a lot. So anywhere there's extra room, I'm just going to put just a little dab. I do want to make sure that I put it on the edges to hold. So just kind of smear that dot around a little. I'm going to flip that over, and we're going to place it on our snowman. And there we go. Now if you have any extra glue, make sure you wipe it off. Now we have our cute little scarf. Now we need to draw his face. Now you want to draw your face before you put it in here, but make sure you draw your face after you add these items, because I drew my face first and I smeared it a little when I was pressing the little scarf down. And as you can see, I used a different scarf than in my first one, and it has 3 different scarves in that set. You get a 1, 2, and 3. This one sticks out very far. So if you want that look, to have his scarf like it's blowing in the wind, and then you have these 2 scarves. So now let's draw his face. Simply a dot for the eye, dot for the eye, and then a little couple dots for his mouth. He looks a little creepy. Let's make him go up a little more like he's smiling. That might have been too many dots. But once we put his nose, which is just a triangle, and again, you can use buttons if you have buttons. Maybe you have a button carrot nose. You can put that inside. Then we're going to stick him on. Make sure you dry your ink. We're going to stick some little tabs on the back because we want him to stand up even higher than just the base. There we go. Take the paper off the little foam tabs. And you can get these little foam tabs in any color, any size, shapes. You get them all over the place. I think these are almost 1/4 inch thick. I like the thick ones when I'm doing something like this. And now I'm going to place him inside. Now you can or cannot, it's up to you, put the snow in the bottom. And the way you do that is you need a piece that is the size of your shadow box. The piece needs to be able to fit inside. You're going to fold. That fold needs to be however tall you want it, because it is going to sit on that shadow box. And then you're just going to cut your little snow drifts. Just a little drifty here and there, like that. Now you're going to want to rub off some of the glitter on the piece that you're going to be gluing and get it off your hands. Now I'm going to use hot glue. I'm going to just simply put a strip here. I'm going to stick it all the way down. onto the shadow box itself. And now I have the snow. Isn't that cute? Now let's put the layered flowers to get our completed look. You're going to need 2 flowers, 2 flower parts per flower. You're also going to need some little foam tabs. So I have the extra small and the small. And the way you want to layer flowers is you want to layer a small one on top of a bigger one. And you're going to want to give it some dimension. It needs to have just a little to stand up, to make it look like it's thick and give it that 3D look. So we're going to put a foam on the back of one of the large ones. And then we're going to put a foam on the top. We're going to pull the paper off. Then you're going to take a smaller one and put on top. Now here's 3 different colors of red here. I like to mix and mingle. Like I'm going to put a lighter color on this one. So then we take another big one. This, I needed to add pink. This one is all red, so I'm just mixing and matching the shades of red. You can do a dark red, a light red, and a medium red and have 3 different shades of flowers, or you can do what I'm doing and intermixing them. Because in the wild, flowers are not uniform colors, and adding extra color gives it more depth. And I'm simply adding a foam to the back and to the top of the larger of the 2, and then staggering and adding the top. Love making flowers. I make flowers for every card I can. The hardest part of cards for guys is not being able to add the flowers. So I usually try to find some kind of metal object that I can add, like eyelets and stuff like that, because I gotta have something shiny and shimmery. So we're going to add a piece of foam again to the top. And I did this in real life time. I did not pre-make these flowers because I wanted you guys to see how quick that went. Gorgeous effect, super fast. Now you need to add a rhinestone. Now they come in every color, shape, size, you name it, you can get it. I like, because it's a poinsettia, I like to put the gold on the inside, but I have 2 different shades of gold. I have multiple yellows, golds, greens, pretty much anything. This is my green, yellow, and gold stash. I get these as stocking stuffers, so I always have a supply of rhinestones. My husband braves the craft store once a year and gets me all the pretty extras to go on my cards, and he puts them in my stocking. Again, because I'm trying to eat healthy, I would rather have a craft supply in my stocking than a chocolate bar. I mean, I'd like the chocolate bar too, but that's not that great. Now I have sparkly flowers, all pretty. All I did was add some cheap little rhinestones that have adhesive on the back. So now let's put these in the card. We're not putting them in with the hot glue because we have them on foam. If we did not have them on foam, I would absolutely use the hot glue. Now here is the non-measuring, non-planning. I am just simply putting them wherever I want them. And I don't have a plan. I do like to do uneven numbers. There's 4 here, there's 5 here. When making cards, it was either 3 or 5. Because for some reason, 4 looked like it should have been spaced perfectly, and that might just be a personal issue I have. But I like to use uneven numbers. So I've punched out 4 white glitter and 4 green glitter, but you can use leaves. You can use anything you want. You don't have to use these branches. It would be just as easy to use some leaves. Let me see if I have an example. Yes, this is a hot mess. When I am punching things out, I always punch extra, and I always have an extra tray. And I thought I had some leaves in here. I could have shown you what the leaves look like. And I have very few leaves in here. I used them all up. But you can also add leaves. You don't have to put these little branchy things in. And you don't have to use it in glitter either. You can use it in plain cardstock. So for these, I am going to use hot glue. just on the bottom half of the stem itself. I'm going to pick up the branch and stick it underneath. Mind your fingers. Don't push the flower down if the glue is still hot, because you don't want your petals to be down. In fact, you want to make them stand up as much as possible. I am simply just going to randomly put these lovely little guys anywhere I want. You don't have to limit yourself to 4 and 4. I only did that because this one had 4 and 4. I wanted to be consistent so you could see what they look like. I have a cat trying to get some attention at the moment. So if something randomly jumps up here, it's not me, it's the cat. She normally doesn't jump up here, so we're safe. She might try to grab something and make a run for it, but that's about it. Anybody else crafting with pets knows exactly what I'm talking about. They don't understand the concept of you being in the middle of something. They just like to bully their way in. And I am, again, random. No plan, no layout. I don't lay them out first to see how it's going to look. I just go with it, and then if I'm not happy, I add more. I like to put them in to overlap the flowers a little bit. The only thing I say that I just really don't like about the hot glue is the strings. But if you wait till your project's finished and you go back with the tweezers, you can take those strings of glue, you can take them right off. And there we have it. I would actually prefer more of these, and I would actually prefer more white ones, only because the background is so much green. So we are going to add 4 more so I can show you. Sometimes when you're not quite satisfied, just adding a few more things will really help. Like, I wanted something between these 2 flowers, so we're going to stick him in there. And you might be asking yourself, why didn't I put these down before the flowers? I don't know where I want them until the flowers are down. So I wanted to add some more white to get some more brightness, and you can tell it's already brightening it up. Not that I don't want the green, I do, but I want to add some white to it as well. And now I think one more over here. There we go. That is more of the look I'm looking for. I really wanted that filled in. And you can see all the strings from the hot glue. It's still worth it to me. These will not come off now. And I can simply take the tweezers and just take these little strings off. You probably can't even see them in the camera. I am going to go and put corners in both these sides. Because this one is square, even though I got glue in the corners, I really think that this look is good. But because this is square and this is square, I do think that the 2 corners would look better if we had the white in both corners. So guys, I want you to tell me what you think in the comments. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I know I am a long ways away from that, but that is just a little personal goal I have going. So make sure if you like this video, you share it with a friend. Send it to someone who may benefit from this knowledge, or someone who just may want to watch the process of how one of these were made. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Go make something fabulous. And as always, happy crafting.